Hello dear students, I am Dr. Sanjay Pagar, Associate Professor, Department of Geography. Dear student, I welcome all of you in this online lecture series on behalf of Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samajas, CART Arts, BH Commerce and AM Science, popularly known as KTHM College Nasik. Dear student, this is our S.Y.B.Sc class, semester 3rd, Geography paper 1st, that is Environmental Geography part 1st. Dear student, this is our lecture number 32 of this subject, and in this lecture we are going to discuss our third chapter, that is environmental problem, global issue and India's major problem. For today's discussion we have a subtopic, that is nuclear pollution part 2nd. Dear student, in previous lecture we have already discussed detailed information about definition and the sources of nuclear pollution. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss a very important subtopic of this chapter, that is effects of nuclear pollution and measures to control nuclear pollution. Dear student, one of the most important and dangerous type of pollution is nuclear pollution. In previous lecture, we have already discussed the few definitions of nuclear pollution. Let us revise one of them. The environmental pollution mainly caused by radioactive substances or the radiation is called nuclear pollution. In other words, we can able to define nuclear pollution is the pollution that contain radioactive elements. Dear student, the effects of the nuclear pollution is seen on every organism in the environment, from the bacteria to plants and human beings also. We observe lot of side effects of nuclear pollution on the surface with respect to the various biotic factors. Let us discuss few of them one by one. The first effects of nuclear pollution is related to genetic mutation. Dear student, the radiation has adverse effect when it comes to genetic. It leads to damage to DNA strand, leading to genetic breakup over time. It means when the bases change or get altered, it changes genetic makeup, that is, older sequence of the bases change with time. The resulting mutation make one highly lead to cancer. For pregnant women, kids born have an adverse effect caused by genetic mutation like a low weight during the birth. If you're talking about diseases, the cancer and the skin problem are the most dominant radiation-related diseases we observe that are the side effect of the nuclear pollution. It has developed over the years and poses a great risk in the global health. Dear student, the other includes the leukemia, anemia, and hemorrhage, a reduction in the lifespan leading to the premature aging and the premature deaths also we observe. These are all the side effects of the nuclear pollution. If we are talking about the cell destruction, the nuclear pollution has diverse effects such as the alteration of the cells. The bodies of living organisms are unique, as within it there are millions of the cells in one single body where each has its own purpose to fulfill. Dear student, the radiation disturbs the cell present, leading to permanent damage of the various organs and the organism system. If heart cells are damaged or altered, it can lead to heart failure or in some cases heart attack also. As heart stop or if it get damaged, the whole circulating system is disturbed. So these are the very important side effects that you observe due to the nuclear pollution. Too much radiation can cause permanent illness and death can occur. Dear student, if we are talking about the effects of the nuclear pollution with respect to the wildlife, the animal at different levels suffer differently. The higher level organism get more affected than the insect and the flies. Dear student, if we are talking about the herbivores such as the cattle, when the grazing the polluted land, the deposited cerium-13 and the iodine-131 get accumulated on the animal tissue in a large amount. And these radionuclides enter their metabolic cycles and affect their DNAs. This end having the very important things that are this end of the mutated. Hello dear students, I am Dr. Sanjay Pagar, Associate Professor, Department of Geography. Dear student, I welcome all of you in this online lecture series on behalf of Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samajas, Karate Arts, BS Commerce and AM Science, popularly known as KTHM College Nasik. Dear student, this is our S.Y.B.Sc class, semester 3rd, Geography paper 1st, that is Environmental Geography part 1st. Dear student, this is our lecture number 32 of this subject, and in this lecture we are going to discuss our third chapter, that is environmental problem, global issues and India's major problem. For today's discussion, we have a subtopic, that is nuclear pollution part 2nd. Dear student, in our previous lecture we have already discussed detailed information about definition and the sources of nuclear pollution. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss very important subtopic, that is effects of nuclear pollution and measures to control nuclear pollution. Dear student, one of the most important and dangerous type of pollution is nuclear pollution. Actually, during last lecture, we have discussed detailed information about basic information about the nuclear pollution. Dear student, let us revise one very important definition of nuclear pollution, and environment pollution, mainly caused by radioactive substances or radiation, is called as nuclear pollution. In other words, we can also define the term nuclear pollution is pollution that contain radioactive elements. Dear student, the effects of nuclear pollution is seen on every organism in the environment, from the bacteria to plants and human beings. There are numbers of the side effects that you observe all parts of the world about nuclear pollution. Let us discuss few of them one by one. First is very important, that is genetic mutation. Dear student, the radiation has adverse effect when it comes to genetic. It leads to damage to DNA strength, leading to the genetic breakup over the time. It means when the base change or get altered, it changes the genetic makeup, that is the older sequence of base change with time. The resulting mutation make one highly lead to cancer. For pregnant women, kids born have an adverse effect caused by genetic mutation like low weight during the birth. Let us discuss about the diseases that are the side effect of nuclear pollution that we observe with respect to the few diseases. Especially cancer and skin problem are the most dominant radiation related disease. It has developed over the years and poses a great risk in the global health. The other include the leukemia, anemia, hemorrhage, that is the hemorrhage, a reduction in the lifespan leading to premature aging and the premature death. This was about the disease that the side effect that you observe due to the nuclear pollution. Let us discuss about the cell destruction. Nuclear pollution has diverse effects such as alteration of the cells. The bodies of living organisms are unique as within it there are millions of the cells in one single body, where each has its own purpose to fulfill. Radiation disturbs the cell present, leading the permanent damage of the various organs and the organ system. If the heart cells are damaged or altered, it can lead to heart failure or in some cases heart attack also. As heart stop or if it get damaged, the whole circulating system is disturbed that are related to the cell destruction. Too much radiation can be cause permanent illness and the death can occur. If we are talking about the effects of the nuclear pollution on wildlife, the animal at different level suffer differently. The higher level organisms get more affected than the insect and the flies. Herbivores such as cattle, when the grazing the polluted land, the deposited cerium-13 and the iodine-131 get accumulated on the animal tissue in a large amount. These radionuclides enter their metabolic cycle and affect their DNAs. This ends up having muted animal generation with the higher risk of the health issue by just a small amount of radionuclides. That is very important that you observe with respect to the wild animal. If you're talking about the effects of the nuclear pollution on plant, then it's observed that the plants are also exposed to radiation, and the damage is mostly done due to the increase in the ultraviolet phase. Different plants get affected directly. The stomata stop to evaporate during the rays of radiation. When the radiation hits the chromosomes, the reproduction get obstructed or it disturbed. It results in altered shape, size, and health in the plant. Exposure in high amount destroy the affected plants. Dear students, if we are talking about the marine life, the power plants which are source of the nuclear energy and chemical processing have been releasing radioisotope into the water for decades. Cesium, radon, krypton, ruthenium, zinc, copper are few of them. Though the waste is released in a permissible amount, it does not mean safe. These radionuclides can be detected in the soft tissue or on the bones of fishes. The cell of all celled species and the tissues of fishes are contaminated with the radionuclides. That is very important we observe with respect to the marine lives. Later discuss about the important control or the measures to control the intensity of nuclear pollution. Later discuss important measures to control the intensity of the nuclear pollution one by one. The first is very important that laboratory generated nuclear waste should be disposed of safely and scientifically. That is very important. If you want to minimize the intensity of the nuclear pollution in this respect, this is a very important measure. Nuclear power plant should be located in area after careful study of the geology of the area, tectonic activity, and the meeting other established conditions. Then definitely it can able to minimize the intensity of this pollution. Leakage of radioactive elements from the nuclear reactors, careless use of the radioactive elements as fuel, and the careless handling of radioactive isotopes must be prevented. That is very important. We require safely measure against the accidental release of the radioactive element must be ensured in the nuclear plants. The next is very important, that is a nuclear device should be never exploited in the air. If these activities are extremely necessary, they should be exploited underground. That is very important. Then we can able to control the intensity of the nuclear pollution at some extent. In nuclear mines, wet drilling may be employed along the underground drainage. This is a very important measure we have to apply an area where we have this type of the nuclear mine. Next one is also important, that is nuclear reactor must be enclosed in a broad concrete wall to prevent the radiation that emerge out. So this is a very important, means this is a very important measure. We have to do this, apply this measure where we have a nuclear plant structure. Next important, that's with respect to the worker. Workers should wear protective garments and the glass spectacle should be screened from the radiation. That is very important. It is a we have to apply an area where the the workers are work at that particular plants. Dear student, if you want to control the intensity of the nuclear pollution, there is required the regular monitoring of the presence of the radioactive substances in a high risk area should be ensured in the nuclear plant. And last one that is very important, extreme care should be exercised in the disposal of the industrial waste containment with the radionuclides. Then we can able to control the intensity of nuclear pollution. Dear student, this was about today's lecture. Today we discussed detail about the effects of the nuclear pollution and how we can able to control the intensity of nuclear pollution. Dear student, in next lecture we are going to discuss very important topic of our subject, that is energy crisis. Okay, thank you.